Hello, Rico.
Hello, Vic.
Thank you very much. So before I get into too much of the show, quick legal disclaimer. According to the recent guidelines, whooping, cheering, interrupting is no longer allowed. I personally think Boris Johnson got heckled one too many times, but that's not my call. But no, it's really great being here, because I first started coming here as a student, but I like to think that I was a bit different to normal students, because sometimes you get these students, they'll leave home for the first time, they'll try and make it on their own, but they won't know anything. They won't know how to fry an egg. But me, I could cook. But the problem is I just really didn't enjoy being any kind of judged. And it really hit home the first time I went to Tesco on my own. And I was getting what I thought was a really standard shop. I was getting some bacon, some cheese, crate of Guinness, a single piece of fruit so I can say, Mum, Dad, no, look, I'm getting a healthy diet, lots of fruits and vegetables. 16 packets of bacon-flavoured instant soup noodles, the usuals. But I get to the checkout, and around instant noodle packet number 12, the lady there says to me in an accent that even after 8 years of having lived in this town, I still can't mimic, "Or duck, you've got to learn to kook." And on any other day, I would have done like this normal social standard thing where you kind of do that half-hearted chuckle and you carry on with your day. But on that day, something just kind of snapped. I said, two things. First, not a duck. I know the resemblance is uncanny, I'm just not one. The second, did you just insult super noodles in my presence? No one insults super noodles in my presence. Because if you had super noodles how I had super noodles, you would no longer judge them. If you had super noodles how I have super noodles, you would realize they could be a meal. If you had super noodles how I had super noodles, with herbs and spices, bacon, flavors you couldn't even imagine, your mouth would love you forever. I'll make you super noodles. Oh, tonight, no, Friday night, I'm making you super noodles. That's my phone number, I'm making you super noodles. And now I have a girlfriend, go figure. Now, it is really strange to be doing stand-up comedy at the Rigger here, because I know this more as a music venue than anything else. And beyond that, most of my friends are musicians, my family are musicians. I'm the only one who can't sing and so talks. Everything I know about performing, I learned from musicians. I've got a set list down there, but the thing is that there are a few reasons I never really picked up music as my forte. The first is that I don't play the guitar. The thing is that everyone who plays the guitar, they did it for one reason. It might not be their only reason. It might not even be their main reason. But they all share this reason. They did it to get babes. Female guitarists, male babes, those exist. Bass guitar players, different type of babe. Drummers, very different type of babe. I play the accordion. Women never swoon at the accordion. But the other thing with music is that, at least when you start out, you need to play things that everyone knows, things that make people point to the sky and say, yes, I know this song, it's Ed Sheeran again. But the thing is that the songs I do know don't really have that vibe. You don't really get the crowd cheering with you, trying to perform a dubstep remix of The Legend of Zelda. But the third reason is that the songs I do know well, that everyone else knows, I can't pull off. I know what I sound like. I'm not trying to sell you any kind of insurance. I'm just Southern. But if we take the objectively greatest song in the world, Hey Ya by Outkast. We'd get to that beatdown section near the end, and I'd be up here, but trying to pull off saying, all right now, fellas, I said what's cooler than being cool.
Ice cold.
I can't quite hear you. I said what's cooler than being cool.
Ice cold.
All right now, ladies, I'm going to break it down for just a few seconds here. Don't make me break it down for nothing. Lend me some sugar for I am your neighbor. Shake it, shake, shake, shake it, shake, shake, shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. I said, hey ya. But the thing is that so many songs, they're meant to be sweet and kind and romantic, and I listen to them and I just think it's really, really creepy. So we take a real old classic. Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time. I'm sorry, I'm not into that, and I don't know you well enough to be into that. One from my youth, Busted's Year 3000. Flux capacitor or no, stay the hell away from my great-great-great-granddaughter. We take a really famous one, Livin' La Vida Loca. That song genuinely has the line, she took my heart and she took my money, she must have slipped me a sleeping pill. Now, I'm not judging here, but I don't need drugs to fall asleep, I just need nice hot chocolate. But the worst, the greatest lie told by music, it's one really simple lie. Girls just want to have fun. I can assure you this isn't entirely true. Apparently they also need feeding, which is why I'm not allowed to adopt kids. Perfect segue to something very dear to my heart, and that is Pokemon. Now, I freaking love that franchise. You know how much I love it? I thought it'd be colder than it was today, and so underneath this shirt is a Pokemon t-shirt. You wanna know how much I love it? I have every video game, both copies of each game. You wanna know how much I love it? I have an actual Pokemon card in my back pocket right now just to call back to later. You wanna know how much I love it? I play an online simulator for the tournament version of the children's video game. And that little simulator has its own chat room and forum. And I do not frequent this forum. I did once. I went on it out of curiosity, thinking, what could possibly go wrong? Click. And the very first thing that I saw in this chat window was a bunch of guys complaining about women. And so I closed my laptop. And then I reopened my laptop because somebody was wrong on the internet. And I will not rest until they see the light. I said, well, maybe the reason that you have such a hard time getting women to like you isn't because of anything wrong with them. Maybe it's just that you're playing a simulator for a children's video game at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. Going from there to a subject near and dear to many people's hearts, which is Google. You may know them as the search engine, or the owners of YouTube. You may know them as the makers of your Android phone, the one that you bought because you didn't want to buy an iPhone to not give money to a corporation. But the thing is, Google are terrifying, man. Google are a company that for years now have not only had military technology. I'm not saying military level, I'm saying guns and drones and things of that caliber. But they are also a company who have been training robots to have the power of imagination. I'm not saying you need to have seen the entire Terminator franchise to realize why this might just be a bad idea. But the thing is, not everyone's going to be as skeptical of this as I am. Some people are going to get really philosophical on you. And they'll say, well, hang on a minute. What kind of art could only a robot paint? What kind of music could only a robot compose? What kind of literature could only a robot dream of? Except we all know it's going to be porn, don't we? Because as robots get more and more advanced, they're going to become more and more human-like. And let's face it, humans, we're obsessed. Cave paintings happen. The first form of, of communication between the generations. Stuff that lasts a lifetime, stuff that lasts to this day. And what's the first thing we draw? Pictures of boobs. I might be skipping a little bit here, but the Kindle comes out. And suddenly, everyone has access to volumes of literature. Every book known to man, the works of Shakespeare in a page, in a thing about that thick. And what's the best-selling book on the system? 50 Shades of fucking Grey. 3D printing comes around. And what's the first thing we make? Sex toys! Human beings as a species, every time we find some wonderful new technology, the first thing we think is, can I stick my dick in it? But the thing is, I have a feeling that all this kind of robot erotica, it's always going to follow the same basic story. We'll begin with start and safe mode, it's my first time. We'll get to a little bit down the way, and there'll be, man, they've been lying to me about what 6 gigabytes looks like for my entire life. And it'll always end the same tragic way. I'm sorry, it's just not going to work out. You're a PC. I run iOS. I operate solo. So, does anyone know what the most evil game in history is? Because I know at least one of you is going to start thinking, it's going to be Monopoly. He's going to do something about Monopoly now. You're wrong, by the way. Monopoly has no malice in it. It's not my fault that you land on my hotel. It's not their fault that your chance card said assess for street repairs. Now, if you want malice in a game, you want genuine evil, you want Uno. You see, Uno, that's a game with some real malice in it. You're playing a game with people near and dear to you, people you love and respect, who you think love and respect you. And you'll go around, you'll play your numbers, you'll play your stops, you'll play your reverse turns. Eventually you get down to your last card, you think, wonderful, I'm about to win this thing. The next person plays their card and the person opposite you looks at you and smiles. You didn't say Uno! So disgruntled, you pick up a card. The game goes round more and more. And eventually you get back down to your last card. Uno, you say? You say, holding it up to everyone. But then the person next to you, they play a +2. Person opposite you plays another +2. Then suddenly the person next to you over there, they're smiling. They shouldn't be smiling as I have to pick up 4 cards when you're about to win. As they play one more +2. You sink. Your heart is in your stomach. You are left with waves and waves of despair, and it all bubbles up in a single sentiment. Fucking hell, don't swear. Sorry, Mum! Now, like I say, when I was first coming to this area, I was a student. It was my first time leaving home. It's the first time with a lot of things, notably buses and alcohol. Now, I'm a lightweight, even for someone of my size. So 5 pints, I am gone. And I use this time, my very first week away from home, to try and get the bus back. But I make the mistake that most people do, I hope, when they first try and take buses, and I got 1 stop too early. The thing is, back then I lived by the side of this canal. There's a block of flats by the side of the canal. And I thought, okay, I can just walk the rest of the way. And as I kind of stumble along, don't ask me how, but I end up by the side of the canal. I think, you know what? It's not all bad. My flat overlooks the canal. I'll just follow this down, and eventually I'll find my way. So as I keep walking a bit further, eventually I find a group of people. I think, brilliant, I'm saved. I kind of stagger up towards them. I can't stagger too far, there's a social distancing line right here. And eventually this crowd part. And in the middle of them they reveal. So it turns out this crowd, they were crowding around something. They were crowding around someone. A tall man in a long black robe and a white collar. I've just found a priest. Suddenly my earlier thought of I'm saved seems really ironic. And the guy looks at me with hatred and scorn in his eyes and says, "You, sir, are you ready to find Jesus?" Now, I'm not a religious man. Never have been, probably never will be. But like I said, I'm 5 pints gone at this point. So I look at him and I say, you know what? Sure. So he takes my head and he puts it into this canal. Holds it down for a while. Wrenches it out, holds my head in his hands. Now, sir, have you found Jesus? No, I haven't. Now he's a bit confused. He takes my head, he puts it in again. Bit longer this time, gives it a bit of a shake for good measure. Wrenches me out, holds my head in his hands and says, now, sir, have you found Jesus? No, I haven't. Now, in hindsight, I probably embarrassed this guy in front of his congregation. I didn't know that at the time. At the time, all I knew is he was taking my head, putting it in for a third time, even longer. The water, there are bubbles coming out of the side of my face. I can't breathe. My life is flashing before my eyes. It's really rather boring. Just before everything blacks out, he wrenches me out, throws me to the floor. I'm coughing, I'm spluttering, there's water coming out of my ears. And he says, now, sir, please, sir, have you found Jesus? Are you sure this is where he fell in? The thing is that, despite everything, I always found, life as a student, going out drinking, a really strange affair. And I don't just mean, hanging out at a bar with friends. I mean, there's a particular type of event, more common with students, but it happens elsewhere. The social, where a group will go out, it'll have a theme, fancy dress, or drink 8 pints in less than the time it takes to watch a movie. But the weirdest one was one I had the misfortune of being on, and it's referred to as the ABC, or anything but clothes. As described, you have to wear anything that isn't clothing. So most people go sensible. They'll wear like a bedsheet toga and channel their inner Caesar. Me, I decided to go with a bin bag dress because I was going to be pretty, damn it. But one guy in this group had, they went in a full duct tape suit, like a suit and tie made of duct tape. So naturally, fairly early on in this evening, I get duct taped to a chair. Now, I probably mentioned that it's the thing that another thing I found really weird with these nights out is that people it never seemed like anyone wore that many clothes. And I don't just mean the women here, I mean the guys going around wearing basically nothing. Like, I don't really like seeing myself shirtless, let alone any other guy. But like I say, I've been duct taped to this chair. And one of a few things could happen. Either I break, the chair breaks, which the bar staff informed me that if it broke, I'd have to pay for it, or the dress breaks. Suffice it to say, the bin liner was less sturdy than bones. And even after having wrenched myself free of being duct taped to a chair, I was still wearing more clothes than half people in that place. Now, there are a few things that I feel like people get lied to about in their lives. And some of them go back really far. Like, one lie that I think most of us were taught as kids, it comes from an old song everyone used to sing. The Hokey Cokey. I never really understood that song. Because it starts out really simple with set instructions. Left foot in, okay, I get that. Left foot out. Okay, also makes sense. In, out, I'm repeating myself. In, out, okay, fine, repeating myself again. Shake it all about, that's nice, something different. Then you do the hokey cokey and you turn around. Now, at no point in that song Does it actually tell you what the hokey cokey is? And the reason I find this so upsetting is I have it on every trusted source in my life that this is what it is all about, and I think I'm missing out. Now, like I said earlier, I've never really been in touch with any kind of religion, but that just means I'm one of those right people for conversion. And people in this town probably had it happen to them where they'll be approached by some religious people to convert. Now, I'm not going to say which religion, because I am aware that the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons have a bit of a turf war in this town, and I don't want to pick sides. But suffice it to say, I got approached by a couple of people trying to discuss their faith with me, and they said, "Are you a follower of the Lord?" I said, "Not since the restraining order, mate." They said, "Now, are you from a religious house?" It's like, well, it's more of a flat. They said, No. Are the people in your home followers of a religion? So, well, according to the home-based habits, I have to shop there to make a house a home, and I don't, so... They said, No. Are the people living in this place of residence ones who follow some kind of religion? I said, well, I've got 3 flatmates. One is the kind of, one's kind of agnostic, always dodges the question. One is the kind of atheist that makes internet comment sections unbearable. And another one is vaguely spiritual with kind of Christian leanings, but non-denominational. And at this point, they turned to me and said, well, what about you? What do you believe? And in that instant, all context left me. Suddenly, I'm forced to confront a question of, what do I believe? My fundamental beliefs about humanity, society, the universe, the world. What do I believe? I had no idea how to answer. But eventually I was able to look at this man in the eyes and just say, me? I believe in dinosaurs. Now, I know what at least one of you might be thinking right now. Oh my God, there's a brown comedian on the stage and he's not once made reference to the fact that he's brown? Doesn't he know? Are we allowed to know? The thing is that there are a few different ways of answering the question of where am I from. The simple answer is I'm from Essex, though that can get a bit too much hate depending on where I am in the country. I could go with the thing that's a bit more obvious to see, i.e. tiny Indian bloke. I could go a little bit more genetic. I could say, well, I'm half Indian, half English, but you follow that side up, I'm 1/64th Russian and it's Hadpole. But the thing is, I've never really felt like I belong to any of those cultures. And it really hit home when I was lucky enough to go to Florida in the US. And it was that part where people get to swim with the dolphins. Now, I didn't swim with the dolphins because I've seen blackfish, but I did get to go to this nice little snorkeling area off to the side where you could, just see fish. And the thing with that is that you start snorkeling around, you start looking at everything around you. And I was swimming around and I saw in the corner of my eye something that I didn't think belonged. Thought, there is no way I have just spotted a tiger shark in this place you can swim with the fish. There is no way that this establishment has one of the only 3 dangerous species of sharks to people in the world. I think I'll swim a little bit closer just to make sure I'm not seeing things. I see another one, I think, I don't know, that looks like a razor-toothed shark. There's no way this place have 2 of the only 3 species of shark in the world dangerous to people. So I swim a little bit closer just to make sure. And I see another one, I think, no! There is no way this place has a great white shark. You can't even keep those in captivity. There's no way this place has the only 3 types of shark dangerous to people in the world. So just to make sure, I swim 1 step closer to make sure I'm not seeing things, and I hit my head against a pane of glass. So, this is the thing, that it took a physical barrier to stop me swimming into what I fully believed were shark-infested waters with the only 3 sharks that could actually eat me. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't really think I'm English or from Essex or Indian or Polish or Russian. I think I might be American. Now, some of you may have worked out by this point, I don't quite have the whole normal thing down. It's not through lack of trying. When me and my brother first left home, we were both given advice. My brother, he was given somewhat normal advice. He was told, just work hard, everything will be fine. He was told, don't drink too much. And he was told, just be yourself, and I'm sure you make lots of friends. 3 years later, it's my turn to leave home. My dad says to me, just work hard and I'm sure everything will be fine. My brother says to me, look, just drink. My mum says to me, just try and hide the you for a while until you have some friends. Bless her, I tried. 6 days I lasted, 6. And it's day 6, I was cooking in my flat what I believed to be a fairly standard meal. Pasta with bacon and cheese. I'd done everything right. I had boiled the pasta, I had fried up the bacon, I had grated the cheese because I'd lived away from home for less than a week and I was yet to realise how much of a ball ache it is to wash a cheese grated by hand. And I put it all I assembled it all and put it in the microwave. My flatmate walks in. Now, for a bit of context on this flatmate, this is a guy who is as tall from the ground as I am from on the stage. He has piercing blue eyes and shaved blonde hair. The Nazis would have frickin' loved this guy. And he turns to me and says, what you making? Pasta, bacon, cheese. Why is it in the microwave? To melt the cheese. And then he says to me, why didn't you stick it under the grill? Now in hindsight, I feel like the better answer to give would have been something along the lines of, well, if you put it under the grill, it has a different texture, and like the stringy consistency you get from the microwave. Yeah, that's not quite what I said to this guy. I looked at this man who I'd known for less than a week straight in the eyes and said, but the microwave goes ding. So this is a story about how Mary Poppins once tried to kill me. So I was sitting in the canteen, the Keele University Student Union. I was listening to music. Now, I'm the kind of guy who, day to day, wears those massive, obnoxious headphones, like everything that looks like Beats by Dre that isn't that brand. So I'm listening to music. And I get overtaken by a random Disney mood. So I listen to Hellfire from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and everything's fine. I listen to Be Prepared from The Lion King. Everything's fine. I listen to The Bare Necessities from The Jungle Book, and everything is better than fine because that song is amazing. But then the live action mood takes me. I listen to Me Old Bamboo from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And then I listen to Chim Chimney from Mary Poppins. Now, for those of you who are musically inclined, you may realise that Mary Poppins is a song that's in 3/4 time. And 1 or 2 of you now are probably hung it in your head going, oh yeah, it is. And others of you may realise that a song in 3/4 time, well, that's a waltz. And being a secret romantic, ladies, when I hear a waltz, well, I must dance. So I take off into the nearby woods to dance like no one is watching. And it's a muddy day, so I'm waltzing through muddy patches. I'm waltzing through muddy patches under trees, waltzing through muddy patches not under trees. Music playing, looping the song all the way. And I keep waltzing through, and eventually I reach this one patch that is a large area of muddy patch without trees. I take one step in and I fall into a hole. And I kind of try and make my way back up because I took a fairly large step in, so I'm a little bit far away from the side of this. I reach one leg out, I move it further towards the edge. Then I do the same with the next leg. Of course, at that point, I realized that this foot is in way deeper than it was before. And as I realized just how far I'm sinking, a realization hits me. Oh God, this is how I'm gonna die, isn't it? Like the dinosaurs in the tar pits, admit it, those are the ones that you judge. And I sink deeper and deeper and deeper. That's when I smell it. It wasn't mud I fell into. So as I eventually try and swim my way to what counts as a bank with the song still looping in my earphones, I eventually manage to dredge my way out onto the side. I sit there in a silent dismay at what I have just encountered, what I've just done. And that's when the song that has still been looping all this time has the nerve to sing the line, "Good luck will rub off when I shake hands with you." I wish I'd made that one up. Now, have any of you ever had that friend who has that one thing they won't shut up about? Maybe they're the kind of kid who took a gap year, but they went traveling rather than working, and so now they call it a gap year. And it's all they ever go on about, their gap year. My life was changed on my gap year. Yeah, I too once had a friend like that. It wasn't a gap year for them though. For them it was that they were a lifeguard. And this guy would not shut up about being a lifeguard. Every week, I saved life this weekend because I'm a lifeguard. I have letters off my name because I'm a lifeguard. What have you done with your life? I'm a lifeguard. It was so annoying. So one day, I turned around and said, you know what, no, this can't go on. I need to top this somehow. You know what, you may be a lifeguard, but me, I'm going to become a priest. And at this point, all of my friends turn to me and say, you're the biggest atheist we know. How are you going to become a priest? So I'll find a way. Now, this was back at school, so access to various things was very limited. But I was able to fill out the application form online to join the priesthood. Under my desk, on my phone, because I'm a badass rebel who don't need your rules, yo. And the following break time, I slide my phone with the confirmation email across the table. I still have that confirmation email to this day. And they turn to me, and this kid picks up the phone, looks at it and just says, man, we didn't think you'd actually do it. So, well, the fourth column is not a fucking option, mate. Drop and give me 20 Hail Marys, bitch. Now, know what at least one of you is thinking? Did that make him shut up about it? No, it didn't. Now, I'll admit, so my family, they don't really approve of what I do for a living. The thing is that day to day, I work for the gambling industry, and I think my family wanted me to do something more noble with my life, something that helps people, something that's honourable, something respected. They wanted me to become a doctor. And I said, no, Mum, look, I can't be a doctor. It's 2020, we're meant to be fighting stereotypes, not enforcing them. I'm a tiny Indian bloke, I can't be a doctor. So now I work in a call centre. I've done my time in customer services, and I am very proud to say that I have only ever told one lie to a customer. Just one. And I didn't even know that I was lying until I was called out on it. A nice lady rang me on the phone, asked their question, and I said, well, I'd be more than happy to look into that for you. She said, more than happy? Are you really more than happy to do this? Come on, be a bit more creative. I said, well, to be honest with you, I'm not more than happy to do it. I'm gonna do it. It's my job to do it. But I'm not more than happy to do it. I'm not more than happy to do anything. I'm barely ever happy. I'm miserable. I wake up and I'm miserable. I go to work and I'm miserable. I go to bed and I'm miserable. I can't come home and I'm miserable. I'm going to bed and I'm miserable. One time, I had sex with 2 people at the same time. I know I don't strike you as the type, but know that both her and her husband were lovely. But on that day, I just about reached all right. I want to take one moment here just to collectively realize that my girlfriend, my parents, my dad, my uncle, and my aunt are all in the audience. I think we're all feeling really awkward right now, so let's move on. So, when I was, when I first kind of, decided to move out, get a job, I tried to do the whole get a house thing too. But the thing that no one ever tells you with buying a house is just how much solicitors get involved. And there's a constant back and forth, to and fro. And eventually it becomes too much. And so I thought I'd save the very last letter that the other house's solicitor sent me. I kept it. The very last letter that their solicitor sent me. And it reads, "Dear Mr. Footring, ordinarily we would not continue correspondence with somebody who is not our direct client after legal proceeding had concluded. However, in your case, we felt it appropriate to respond to your most recent letter to our business. We understand that the length of time it took for the housing contracts to come through may have been longer than you were expecting. However, sending over a vial of literal snake venom with your letter seemed a little bit over the top. Furthermore, while we fully appreciate that the period of homelessness you experienced for a period of 3 weeks will make you ineligible for a bank account for 24 months, we find your point moot since A, you were living in a hotel, so were at worst swanky homeless, and B, letters written in, hopefully, your own blood are legally speaking a threat. We will, however, not press charges for this should you send us a formal written apology for your threats, and also for your allegation that we are the reason lawyer jokes exist." That sentiment was only amusing to our firm's accountant, who has now had to seek further employment opportunities in a different field. And contrary to your stipulation, a tweet will not suffice in this regard. Yours sincerely, Sellers Solicitors Limited. Now, like I say, if you ever did want to try and follow my footsteps, I did actually construct a list when I was doing the whole house thing for what you too may want to do should you wish to find a house. The list begins. Google houses. Google houses to buy. Houses to buy, Stoke-on-Trent. See a nice house. See price. Feel crushing disappointment. Repeat. Repeat. Realize you're going to need a mortgage. Go to mortgage advisor. Go through your finances. Get told that I don't spend enough on food to get a credit rating. Eat a Pokemon card in front of the mortgage advisor to prove that it's food. I've been doing this drink for 4 years and they don't taste any better. Still in my mouth, but let's carry on. So, I get approved somehow. I dance in front of the mortgage advisor. Realize only now on the stage that I can't dance. Find a home within budget. I get told to go 30% lower for my offer than the asking price. I await crunch time. Panic. Go 3k lower than asking price. Get accepted. Power slide through offices in happiness. Forget how much that really hurts your knees. Realize how long you are going to be in debt for. Panic again. Tell your friends the news. Panic still. Wonder what to do with life next. Play Pokemon cards. It's still on my mouth, by the way. I haven't swallowed it yet. It's really, really disgusting. But, so there are some jobs in this world that they're worthy of respect and they get respect. Doctors, worthy of respect. Nurses, worthy of respect. Teachers, worthy of respect. Unless you're my brother, then you're a twat. But some jobs, they don't get the respect they deserve. And that's your bar staff. It's your checkout workers. It's people who. It's your waiters. It's the people who. It's your chefs. And the reason I say that is the very first job I ever had was in the back of a restaurant, and I had the easiest job in that place. I was dessert guy. My entire being was taking desserts out of boxes, putting them onto plates, and occasionally adding ice cream. I hate ice cream. Not the taste, I'm sure that's lovely. No, it's more than if ice cream were a person, I would punch it in the throat. You see, ice cream in restaurants comes in two consistencies. Pouring, which I can't serve to a customer, and solid, which when you have the muscle mass of a slug with a wasting illness, I can't serve to a customer. So we get to a busy Saturday night, and the orders keep piling up. And all of them want ice cream. And eventually you start taking a few shortcuts, Bit of ice cream, just wipe it on your shirt. Bit of chocolate frosting from the top of a chocolate cake, it's got one side of your face for that. I didn't have one of those stop and search beards back then, so I could do it. The cream from the top of a banoffee pie. That can go through the hair. Bit of sorbet, that can go on the other side of the face. No biggie. But the night rolls on, and eventually, I just stop coping. My boss walks in. Now I'm pretty sure that my boss expected to find me slacking off in the corner on my phone and say, "Come on, Vic, dessert's piling up, get on them." That's not quite what my boss finds. My boss found me in the corner, but my shirt looking like tie-dye from the flavors of ice cream emanating outwards. Chocolate frosting covering one side of my face, a mixture of blood and sorbet running down the other side of my face, the cream of banoffee pie strewn through my hair, and I'm on the floor sobbing, screaming, "Ice cream! Ice cream! Ice cream!" So 2 weeks later, I'm unemployed. But this is why I respect people in that kind of industry so much, because anybody who can work that kind of job for more than 4 months and not end up with the nickname Banoffee Cry is worthy of respect. Thank you very much, Rigger. Have a good night.